By Saturday, she said to me, we really should join this. We need to do this. We're very grateful, forever, eternally grateful to you and Candace and all the team at Freedom Founders, because we're in a different spot now than we would have been had we not found you. The original model we had, as you know, was to start drawing down, and we had this pool that we're going to have to poke a hole in the bottom of it and let it slowly start draining down to nothing. Well, now we've got to keep adding on to the pool. The money just keeps growing, and we passed our freedom number, and it's hard to put into words the feeling of not really worrying about next week, next month, or next year. Everyone is willing to share what they're doing financially. They'll talk numbers. We're all a team. It's like a family, and there's no competition. There's just a level of sophistication to the group that you're not going to find anywhere else. So we're confident no matter what the world throws at us, as long as we're part of Freedom Founders, our wealth isn't going to go away.
So in June of 2020, as we said, that was right in the middle of COVID. We had to go to fully virtual events for that year, pretty much because of the coronavirus pandemic and the shutdown and the fear and contagion and all that was happening. So you and Monzel were guests at our virtual event. You didn't come live. You didn't get to actually rub elbows with people in the group. You had to kind of like get a sense of, is this Freedom Founders thing, is it real? Is it authentic? Or is it just another one of those groups where we're going to go in and invest money and kind of get pitched a bunch of stuff that, might as well just go to Vegas and throw the dice on the table. What gave you and Monzel the confidence to move forward at a virtual event, something that was relatively substantial investment?
I'm thinking back, there were a number of factors. We were a little nervous. Now the stock market came back relatively quickly after that, but we saw how vulnerable we were. So we knew we needed a plan B. We knew we needed to do something different. So we came with the mindset that, we really need to look at this seriously. The quality of the people who were presenting, and I don't remember now, we've kept all the information that we received, the booklets and the meeting booklets and things, so I could go back and check. I probably should have before the call. But the quality of the speakers, many of whom I had heard of or read books from already, so they were not unknown to us. I think there's a genuineness to you and Candace, a sincere desire, and I don't mean to sound corny, but a real true sincere desire to see other people excel and do well and succeed. And it just came through. We could just get that sense, and that was virtual. People have when you go to a live meeting, and honestly, I because of past experiences, we may not have come had we had to actually physically show up. The cost of airlines and hotels, and we might not have done it. But the fact that we could sit in the basement and sit on a computer, if we didn't like it, we just switched the camera off and walk away. We didn't do that ever. Just so you know. Now, a lot of it was, your dental practice and recovering from the COVID shutdown. There was a lot of fear in dentistry, in medicine, and business at that time. So a lot of the sessions were about how to navigate those very choppy and rough and unknown waters. And that didn't apply to us anymore because we were retired. So I must confess, there was a time or two where Monzel went and took a nap because, it didn't really apply to us. But anyway, even with that, the quality of the speaker, the genuineness of you and Candace and all the people that were shown on the screen, and it just felt right. And going back to that other mistake that I made, I did it with her saying, I really don't feel good. This is not something you should do. You shouldn't do it. And I said, no, I think we're going to be fine. And I did it anyway. And she's never held that against me. I mean, she's never, how sometimes when married couples can get into an argument, something that happened 15 or 20 years ago will come up and say, well, do you remember this? she's not that person. And
Well,
so
that's fortunate, because I think,
that's never come up. I
it's
bring it up when it comes up because I still feel terribly guilty about it.
it's funny that you say that, because I think men we tend to forget those things very quickly. And it's funny how Candace can remember stuff to the detail. It's like, well, how do you do that?
Exactly.
Anyway,
So we're sitting there together, and actually I was pretty pumped and excited, but there was no way I was going to say, I think we should do this. It was not going to happen. But she said, I don't remember the exact words, but she goes, this is something we need to look more closely at. And again, as we went on, and by the time we were in the second day, I believe when that was set up, we did a couple of hours on a Wednesday night, a couple of hours on a Thursday night, and then kind of all day Friday and Saturday. It was a little bit different than the live sessions. And but by Saturday, she said to me, we really should join this. We need to do this. And I was in full agreement, but I wasn't going to say it because of the problem I had before. But she has a tremendous intuition, a tremendous instinct. And I didn't listen the first time, and I did the second. And we're very grateful, forever, eternally grateful to you and Candace and all the team at Freedom Founders, because we're in a different spot now than we would have been had we not found you. So we're eternally grateful.
So almost 2 years later, you have gone through the process, the blueprint days, getting the education, going through the alternative 101 modules, getting what we call your investor badge. So you start investing in, which you've been doing for the last 2 years. And you've now, essentially, as you told us, reallocated, I think, almost all of your capital, which was in the markets, the financial markets, into alternatives. And you still have both homes. You have Cincinnati and Tennessee homes. You didn't have to give up one. Your run rate or your passive cash flow meets and exceeds your lifestyle needs. We call it the lifestyle burn rate, or your freedom number, exceeds that, so that you are, you're adding to the nest egg, not depleting it, which is the traditional financial model. Is you deplete. You get some kind of returns, and you have to deplete it, and that's why you run out at 92. In our model, you don't run out at 92. You don't run out at 105. You actually have capital to pass on your heirs or give away to charities if you wish to do so. You're not depleting something down to zero. You're also a captain of one of the small groups that meet weekly as in a leadership role. You've come to a number of our blueprint days, and you and Monzel have really helped sow into new people that are coming on board, because again, they want confidence. They want to see someone else has done it. Just that's just like them, because we all have fear about something new. It's like, is this really going to work for me, right? So you've done all these things. How does life feel for you and Monzel, being, as we call it, free for life, without the fear or the angst of, gosh, are we spending too much money? We better be careful. I mean, how's it feel for you guys?
Wow, that's I wish she was here. I wish she could give her input into this as well. But the original model we had, as you know, as you just said, was to start drawing down, and we had this pool that we're going to have to poke a hole in the bottom of it and let it slowly start draining down to nothing. Well, now we've got to keep adding on to the pool. The money just keeps growing, and we passed our freedom number, and it's hard to put into words the feeling of not really worrying about next week, next month, or next year. We actually got, we are so convinced that we're doing the right thing, and experience has proven over the last 2 years that we are doing the right thing, that I used to feel kind of that it was kind of important to keep a very large sum of, at least a couple of years, a year or two's worth of liquid assets just sitting there, in a money market at 0.3% interest, with inflation at 8.5%. So, that doesn't make a lot of sense to do that. But we are so comfortable now with what we're doing that we've actually taken that down to really just 2 or 3 months or so. But we have plenty of access with our investments, and we've got, if we needed the money, we can pull it out. But why not have the money work for you? We're so comfortable and so confident in the TAs and in the investment opportunities that we have virtually all of the money that we can invested, and it's spinning off more money than we really need. So our IRAs are continuing to grow. We have money invested in cash. So a lot of our freedom numbers coming from just mailbox money. The comfort level, the security that we feel. Again, I wish she's better at putting things into words than I am. I wish she was here. It's hard for me to really put words on it, but it's a sense of freedom that we just didn't think we would ever feel. We thought we would spend the rest of our days worried that the money was going to disappear for stock market reasons, or we were going to have to take this out or sell the homes that we love. We had fear of that, and that fear is gone. We don't worry about that.
Last question. And, it's hard, Dennis, for anybody who is outside of Freedom Founders and kind of looking, like everybody does, or like you and Monzel did for a couple of years, kind of hearing about us, looking at us, but until you kind of get inside and come to, a live meeting and actually get to meet people, both members and the trusted advisors who, as you said, we have, highly curated. What is it about the community that gives you the confidence that you're at the right place, particularly as I believe we're approaching more and more volatility in the marketplace, where I believe we could hit a recession, we could see a correction come in the overall business cycle? What gives you the confidence that you're in the right place to navigate these more turbulent times?
Couple of answers to that. First is everyone that we have money invested with, and everyone, we don't have money with all of the TAs because they're just not everything fits our blueprint needs. We've talked to them all. We feel like we're friends with all of them, but every one of them have been through these market like you have, and like, well, I have as well, but not as the deal sponsor, but they've all been through these markets, these downturns and upturns and cycles, and know how to respond to them. So there's a comfort level there. If you've never been through one of those, if you own a bunch of houses and you've never been through a 2008 or 9, you just don't know what it's like, and they have. So there's a comfort there because they know we're confident that if things really get wacky, that they'll be able to respond. The community itself, dentistry is a competitive profession, and we may be friends with the other dentists in our community, but we don't share information with them. Maybe where's a good place to go get a cold beer, but we don't talk about techniques and things. And so in this community, we're all, and they're not all dentists mostly, but there's some, we have pharmacists and physicians, and there's a large group of people, a wide variety of people, but everyone is willing to share what they're doing financially. They'll talk numbers. There's just, we're all a team. Everybody, we're all truly like a big family. It's like a family, and there's no competition. If somebody calls me today and say, man, I just got this check from so-and-so, I'm not, oh, darn it, I wish I'd have done that. I'm happy as heck for them. And there's just, there's a lot of sharing like that, a lot of camaraderie. And so I know if anything happens in the market between, well, I don't know if I should name names, but you and Alistair and Daniel Marcos and all the people who are just, the worldwide knowledge, not just knowledge in Cincinnati, Ohio, but people who've lived all over the world and have lived through true hyperinflation and rapid devaluation of their national currencies and drug wars and coups, and they've lived through all of these things, and they bring that knowledge to us, and there's just a level of sophistication to the group that you're not going to find anywhere else. So we're confident no matter what the world throws at us, as long as we're part of Freedom Founders, there'll be an answer. And, we may suffer some short-term cash flow issues, but our wealth isn't going to go away. So.
Well, Dr. Dennis Perry, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you so much for your sincere and genuine leadership, for both you and Monzel. You're great leaders, and there's always going to be a bright light taking you down the rest of the journey in your life. And we just love the fact that we get to do it with you. So thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome. And it's always, as you know, always an honor and pleasure to sit and chat with you. And I appreciate you inviting me on. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
Okay.
If you enjoyed watching or learning from this video, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more content. If you have a question about any of my content or this specific video, just please leave a comment down below. And as always, stay focused on your freedom. I'll see you next time.